There are things that contribute to improving our emotional well-being, and there are others that, on the other hand, stress us out and take away precious energy for our personal growth. In this video, thanks to a Zen story steeped in Buddhist wisdom, we will see 12 things that you should eliminate from your life to live in peace. Because many times in life, it is enough to eliminate the superfluous to feel better and leave behind what holds us back and takes away the joy of living. So stay until the end, because the information you will obtain will help you achieve inner peace. But before continuing, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share the video. In this way, you will help us produce new content every day for your spiritual growth. In an ancient Buddhist monastery located in the mountains of Japan lived the wise monk Aran, famous for his ability to understand the human soul. One day the monk, with a compassionate gaze, prepared to share with his disciples the 12 fundamental lessons that revealed the secrets to living a peaceful and fulfilling life. The first lesson, according to Aran, was the ability to let go of people who did not contribute to spiritual well-being. Imagine your life as an inner garden, Aran began. For your garden to flourish, you must free it from those people who act like weeds, hindering the growth of your virtues. Have you ever seen a garden full of weeds growing luxuriantly? The monk asked rhetorically. To clarify what he meant, he told the story of an ancient tree whose roots had made friends with the surrounding rocks. Just as the strong bond between the roots and the rocks, the monk explained, allows the tree to grow strong and firm, so cultivating authentic and meaningful relationships serves as food for everyone's soul. Aran's second lesson was about superfluous goals. We often set goals that in the end turn out to be useless and harmful, he said. How can you hope to become majestic trees if you fill yourself with useless branches? Be like the healthiest and wisest trees. Cut off what is not necessary and concentrate on the roots that nourish you. The disciples listened attentively as Aran painted a vivid picture of how focusing on essential goals allowed growth in the right direction. Think of a gardener, he said. Who, by taking care of the branches of the trees and cutting off the superfluous ones, allowed them to grow healthy, tall, and leafy. The third lesson I would like you to focus on, the master added, is related to not sharing too much of yourself with others. Imagine yourself as a flower, he urged. Unveil your petals only when the time is right, because sharing too soon can cause misunderstandings, harm your spiritual growth, and ruin your plans. As everyone listened with interest, Aran reminded them to be mindful of what to share with others. Remember, he said, that a good gardener carefully chooses the seeds to plant. Only carefully selected seeds can grow and transform into a lush garden, and that is why you, dear disciples, must choose carefully what to share of your life with others. The less you said about yourself, the more opportunities you will have to grow and achieve your goals, preventing anyone from hindering you or using the information they have obtained to harm you. Let the facts speak for your results. The fourth lesson was about anger management. Aran explained that anger is like fire. It can destroy or heat. When you are angry, imagine yourself as a carpenter shaping wood, he said. Transform that destructive force into a constructive form by shaping your response to anger. The disciples learned that anger can be transformed into positive action, an energy that, well channeled, can contribute to personal growth. If you learn to transmute anger into constructive force, he added wisely, you will have the opportunity to shape your existence. Aran continued with the fifth lesson, urging his disciples to avoid negative judgments about others. Each person is like a book, he said. Don't judge by the cover or a single page. Read the entire story before jumping to conclusions. And so that the concept could be better understood, he told the story of a tree that, although apparently dry, kept inside the memory of the seasons in which it had been flowering. The disciples understood the importance of looking beyond appearances and embracing deep understanding, as if they were scholars studying ancient manuscripts to discover the true meaning of things and people. With the arrival of social networks, said Aran when presenting the sixth lesson, it is essential to learn to use them consciously. Imagine yourself as digital surfers who wisely select the stories to read, avoiding getting lost in the most superficial ones. The disciples learned that awareness in the use of social media was essential to maintain a clear perspective on one's life and not be carried away by useless narratives. And Aran instructed them on the importance of being careful navigators, able to choose digital routes wisely to avoid the dangers of superficiality. The seventh lesson was about the approval of others. Be the protagonist of your own story, he said. Do not depend on the applause of others. Imagine yourself as an actor on stage with the spotlight on you. Act out your story from the heart, regardless of the audience. Always keep in mind that a true artist acts or sings first and foremost for himself, and not simply to please the audience. Let's think of a bird that sings in the forest for the pleasure of singing, not to delight those who listen to it. The disciples, thanks to the Master's words, reflected deeply on the inner strength that comes from self-approval. And they understood that, in life, you have to be like actors or singers who recite or sing their script regardless of the spectators in front of them. In the eighth lesson, Aran encouraged his disciples to free themselves from unreasonable expectations. Excessive expectations are the root of disappointment. He stated, "Be like flexible trees that, in the wind, bend but do not break." The disciples learned that, like flexible trees, they could dance with the winds of life instead of breaking before the storms. With the ninth lesson, Aran invited his disciples to free themselves from attachment to the past. The past is like a river that flows constantly, he said. Holding on to memories and old grudges is like trying to grab hold of moving water. However, letting go allows you to navigate the river of life with clarity. The disciples, thanks to the monk's explanations, learned that forgiveness was the key to dissolving the ties of the past. Through forgiveness, he said, you can clean up the past and focus on the present, the only place where you can make a difference. The 10th lesson was about resistance to change. Life is a river in constant change, declared Aran. Resisting change is like trying to stop the flow of water. Remember that accepting change is like navigating currents, transforming challenges into opportunities for growth. The disciples, thanks to the monk's metaphors, imagined themselves as skilled navigators, capable of adapting to the curves of the river of life, rather than resisting its flow. Imagine yourself as expert sailors, Aran added. Sailors know when to raise the sails and when to let the current take them to new horizons. The 11th lesson had to do with control mania. Imagine yourself as gardeners cultivating the soil of your life. The teacher said, let nature take its course, and you will see amazing flowers grow. I remember a good gardener who, abandoning excessive control and letting nature act, saw a garden bloom that was richer and more vibrant than ever. Finally, Aran shared the 12th lesson, which called the disciples to free themselves from the fear of the unknown. Imagine yourself as an explorer venturing into unknown lands. Fear is just a shadow. Don't let it guide your steps. It told the story of a brave explorer who, embracing the unknown, discovered unimaginable treasures, and the disciples understood that only by overcoming fear could they discover the wonders that life had in store for them. In conclusion, the moral of this story lies in recognizing that life is a journey full of challenges, an opportunity to paint our destiny with awareness, love, and courage to embrace uncertainty. Letting go of what doesn't serve you Accepting change and living in the present moment are the keys to a peaceful and fulfilling life. In every fallen leaf, in every cut branch, we find the opportunity to grow and flourish like majestic trees in the garden of our existence.